Okay. All right, we're live and in person. Well, not really in person. Okay, man, so I got your card here, right? You can hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
All right, good, all right. So let's kind of walk through this thing. So what you're trying to do is create the perfect just sold card. So I know a thing or two about this, and I think I can help you. All right, first of all, the template that you're using is one that I helped Warren Flax with, which was just a USP card, promoting his performance guarantee, unique selling proposition. So if I pull up that card real fast, bear with me 1 second here, and I'm going to find it. Here it is. If we take a look at that card, you can see it?
I can.
Okay. This is a jumbo size card. The card you're doing, is it jumbo?
It's 6 by 12.
Okay, so it's a big card. So all you've done here, if we look at your card and we look at Warren's here, you've just popped out basically the testimonials, and you've popped in really just a different kind of proof, but in this case, a property that you sold.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so that's what makes it, I'll say, a just sold card. All right. So a couple of things. If we start up here at the top, and then we'll make our way around it. One of the things that I've discovered over the last 11 years as Platinum Coach, dealing with individuals, teams, brands, and logos, is that the members who use their own photo, like Craig Proctor did, regardless of how many people he had on his team, your home sold or I'll buy it, or your home sold or will buy it, Craig Proctor team, it just always, you get a bigger response with a personal guarantee. So it's a difference between, say, Donald Trump saying, I'm guaranteeing you something, or Trump Incorporated with his logo saying, we guarantee you something. All right? It's just, it means more, it has more gravitas to it. So that's why I encourage you to use your photo next to your performance guarantee with your name. Okay? But that's why it's there. All right? So your home sold at a price acceptable, you guaranteed we'll buy it.
Now, in Todd, this is a mock-up still. We still got stuff showing.
Right. So this is the proof. But that's why we're doing this little webinar, so you get it right.
Right on.
All right. So, yeah, it would say Bill Watson over here. Let me get a little drawing pin. So right here is going to have your photo, Bill Watson, okay? And right here, you'll probably want to capitalize that W there. And if it were me, it would say, I'll buy it. If it were me.
Okay.
And I'm the team leader, we just would generate more leads that way. Right? You can do what you want to do, but that's what it would be with me. Okay? Okay, now, right here, okay, so next, let's see, call action. To discuss the sale of your home, call Watson team at 303-842-0836. Or get a free special report that details this exclusive offer at guaranteedsellplanco.com. Guaranteedsellplanco.com. Okay. But when you look at white space, what I was thinking is this here, and I'll just draw a little line around it. This might could go.
Okay.
While every agent will promise to sell your home, the reality of the real estate market today is that this simply doesn't always happen. Needless to say, this is highly frustrating to a home seller like you. Our guaranteed sale program solves this dilemma. And typically what you would do is you'd go on to say, here's why, or here's how it solves your dilemma. Like, you can't say our guaranteed sale program solves this dilemma and stop. You can, but it's just not as effective as going on with here's why or here's how. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So since we're not doing that and we decided to use statistical USPs instead, I would probably just get rid of this paragraph altogether. It's either that or we got to explain that paragraph with bullet points. So I'm going to recommend getting rid of that paragraph.
Okay.
That'll create a little more white space for you. And then you can say 4 big reasons to call Watson Team to sell your home. Number 1, we get you more money. Okay, so you need to say, we get you more money. Number 2, we sell your home faster. Number 3, your home is more likely to sell. And number 4, we got the buyers.
And then I'll put what we've got in our buyer and waiting program.
Mm-hmm.
So item number 1, we'll get you more money. Is that what you said?
We get you more money.
Okay. Number 2.
Watson Team gets you 3.8% more than the average area agent. Watson Team 96. Probably want to clarify this. Watson Team sales price to list price ratio. This is just really vague over here.
Yep.
Watson Team 96.8% of asking. Watson Team percent of asking price. AVG percent of asking price. How about that? Is that what you want to put in there? So you got to put it in this graph. Maybe you got to explain what this is a little more. I see it over here. We get you more money. Watson Team gets you 3.8% more than the average area agent. So probably what I would do, let me get rid of these drawings, is I'd give some separation in these graphs. They're all in one line here. See that?
Right.
Yeah, that line needs to go away, and we need some separation in this just so we can understand it more.
You mean separation, spread them out or jog them, or?
Well, they don't need to be spread out. It's just that there's this black line right here.
Yeah, so we just got to get rid of the black line.
Yeah, I don't like that line. I don't even know why it's there. I don't think it needs to be. I'm just trying to get this a little more eye appealing. So number 1, we get you more money. All right, so we're going to get rid of this. Let me do that. That went away. It gives you a little more link to area to work with. 4 big reasons to call Watson Team to sell your home. Number 1, we get you more money. Watson Team gets you 3.8% more than the average area agent. Watson Team percent of asking price, 96.8%. Average agent, 93%. So I think you can put that in there, a little percent sign of asking price right in there. See that?
Right there in that, right next to the Watson Team in the red. So just the percentage of list of asking price.
Yeah, right in here. Watson Team percent of asking price. Can you see that?
I do.
Okay, all right. Okay. Number 2, we sell your home faster. Watson Team sells homes almost twice as fast, and if you can fit it in here, as the average agent. If you can, it's not necessary. Watson Team, 48 days, average agent 91 days. Let me see if we need to clarify that here. Watson Team, average agent. Probably could put here, after average agent, days on market. In that little box.
Okay. Okay.
Number 3, your home's more likely to sell. Watson Team's homes are 23.4% more likely to sell. Okay. Watson Team, 73.3%, average agent 49.9%. This is only one here that is difficult to explain. 73.3% of what? You know what I mean? Average agent 49.9% of what? So we can't confuse them here. We got to be really clear on what we're trying to tell them. Your home is more likely to sell. Watson Team's homes are 23.4% more likely to sell. Okay, Watson Team. So you only sell 73.3% of the homes you list before the expiration date?
No, you know what? I haven't changed these stats yet from Warren's. All I did was implant this right now just to get to the layout.
I got you, okay.
Put my data in.
I was going to say, I don't like that number. That's really low. Let's remove it.
No, I don't like that. I don't like any of these numbers. My numbers are a lot stronger than these numbers. So I'm going to, once we kind of get the layout and stuff, then I'm going to have it just kind of all the accurate stuff punched in.
Okay. Here's how you can do this. Okay. You don't even have to have these percentages here. Okay. You can just put Watson Team 2 times more likely to sell. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
3 times more likely to sell. 4 times more likely to sell. Whatever it is. 2+ times more likely to sell. Watson's Team's homes are 2 times more likely to sell. So you don't need a percentage there.
In this particular number 3, but we need them in 1 and 2, correct?
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't have to be. It could be, 2 times more likely. That's what, it's 100% or 200%, right? Or that's 100%. 2 times more. Okay, so it could be 33% more likely to sell.
Yeah, but okay, I got it.
Okay, so instead of using percentages there, you can just put 2 times. Or Watson Team, 33% more likely to sell. And you don't even need, you could put, out beside Watson Team right here, in this little area, Watson Team, more likely to sell. All right, so no percentage. Watson Team, more likely to sell. Watson Team's homes are 2 times more likely to sell. Or, whatever you want to put there.
Got it.
Okay. And then, down here where it says you got the buyers, probably needs to be some sort of demonstration there. Like, instead of you got the buyers, it obviously needs to say.
Yeah, we've got the buyers in.
We got the buyers. And just go ahead and say it. We have over 300 buyers in our database looking for a home in the area. Watson Team has over 300 buyers in our database looking for a home in the area. Whatever the number is.
Yeah, it's like 3,400, but
Okay, there you go. Watson Team has over 3,400 buyers in our database looking for a home in the area. You'll be able to fit that right in there. So what you've got here is you've got this, and then you have this little graph illustration too. So in other words, if I cover this all up over here and I'm just looking at the graph, I can understand it.
Right.
If I cover the graph up and I'm just looking at this over here, I can understand it. That's what I was getting at.
Got it. No, that makes sense.
Okay. So it's just, that means it's clear. It's very clear and a 5th grader can understand. All right, so that takes care of your statistical USP. That's really good. So again, we're going to get rid of this paragraph up here, and that allows you to move this up a little bit, create a little more white space right in this area. Okay, good. All right, let me erase that drawing. Okay, now over here in your just sold box, where it says sold in 2 days for 103% of the asking price, you really want to say that you sold it.
Okay.
Okay. We sold, or Watson Team, take the opportunity to use your name. Watson Team sold 4360 Eugene Way for 103% of the asking price. You sure you want to put Denver in there?
No, I don't have to put Denver in there. Just
okay. Like if I'm in Aurora or Inglewood or Broomfield or wherever it is you sell houses around there, and you're sending the postcard to it, Eugene Way. I mean, I don't know where Eugene Way is, but my assumption I can draw is that it's somewhere in the area. But if you put Denver, I'm like, well, I don't live in Denver. I live in Inglewood.
Right. So really, I mean, wouldn't I get rid of the address down below and drop the picture and up on top say Watson Team sold?
Yeah, Watson Team sold 4360 Eugene Way in 2 days for 103% of the asking price.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's good. So you got a box there, and you just box that whole thing in. Right? And all you're doing is basically popping out the editorial ads, popping this in, and you're good. So you can use this card interchangeably. If you're going to do it on a mass mailing, like on a farming tool, then you can use the testimonials that we were looking at, with like this, like with Warren's card. Almost there. Can you see that?
I do.
Okay.
So are you saying don't use a picture of the house?
No, dude. I'm saying if you want, the card can be used two different ways. You can do you can use the postcard as a farming tool using the testimonials.
Correct.
But if you're going to use it as a just sold card, then it's a totally different marketing system. So you use the same card, just use testimonials or use a just sold, depending on what you're doing with it.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
so I think that's great because then you can use it. It becomes a multifaceted piece.
Yeah, you just change that box out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about. Let me go back to my. Well, I can just stick with my little pin here. Okay. So what you do with a just sold card, let's make sure we get your offer here. To find out how much you can sell your home for and how long it would take, visit. You know what I would do here, dude? Is I'd tell them to call you.
Okay.
To find out how much you can sell your home for and how long it would take, call Bill at whatever number. Or, call your phone number. That's what I would do there, based on what kind of card this is. And and who we're going to be sending it to. And we're going to do that. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. Okay, so for a just sold card, here's who you send them to. Okay? You send them to the expired listings. So to figure out how long you want to go back. If you want to go back to everybody that's expired in the last month, last 2 weeks, last 1 day, that's up to you. Okay? But there's probably a cycle in there. So for example, we were marketing to the expired listings anyway in our marketplace. We had them. They were getting direct mail from us, that 4-page sales letter that you're familiar with.
Right.
Okay? So whenever we would send out a card like this, we would send it to those same people. Even though they were getting other direct mail from us, everybody that had pretty much expired in the last 30 days is who was getting mail from us, because at the end of the month, we pretty much stopped direct mailing them. Okay?
Got it.
So they would get this card. So it's a pretty fair number of people. So it would reinforce what they were already getting. And it was a little different take on what they were getting in terms of the same message. Okay? So it worked really good. So you send it to the expired listings, number one. Then you should probably send it to the old expireds. So 6 months, for example, everybody who expired 6 months ago, between the 6th and 7th month or the 7th and 8th month, old expired listings. And I'm just being hypothetical, but you send it to new expireds, send it to old expired listings. So what we want to do with the Just Sold card is really target people who we know are most likely interested in making a move.
Right.
The average agent out there in the industry sends it to everybody that's around the listing that they sold.
Right.
Okay, and they have no idea if those people are interested in making a move or not. So they get very little from that, and they quit doing it. So my suggestion is,
I will tell you that
what's
I
that?
think this is going to be a perfect add-on to our expired campaign.
Right. So my suggestion is to send it to those people that you know are more likely interested in making a move, and expired listings will be at the top of the list. New expireds, old expireds. And then you determine how far back to go. So all the new expireds in the last 30 days, for example, or the last 2 weeks, all the old expireds between 6 months and 7 months, 7 months or 8 months or whatever. Okay. Next on the list would be all the for sale by owners. So if you've got a list of FSBOs or get those from someplace, they should get this card as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Next on the list would be all of the seller prospects that you have in your database that's tagged as a seller prospect. So if you're generating leads from property inquiries, editorial ads, other marketing systems that you have, and you've got them tagged as a seller prospect, they should be getting the Just Sold card.
Yes.
And then fourth on the list would be all of the active listings in the marketplace. Okay, if it's a softer market or a stable market where about a third of the homes do not sell within their listing time frame, I would send it to the actives. All right, so you can add, if you're a realtor, if you're not a realtor or board of realtor member, then you don't have an issue. If you are, then you probably want to put a little disclaimer down here that says, not intended, right. Not intended to solicit properties currently listed for sale by a licensed real estate agent.
Yep.
In the fine print somewhere.
Okay.
All right. So that would be, in essence, if you take this card here and make those changes or additions to it, that becomes the perfect, quote, Just Sold card, or at least one side of it. Let's look at the other side. Hang on one second. Let me go to my normal drawing tool. All right, the second side pretty much is the same thing. Okay? You can, if it were me, see, I would use a testimonial of the guy's house that I sold. So I got his house on one side, and I got his testimonial on the other.
Right. Okay.
So that's the way I would do it. If you can get away with it.
Okay.
So here's the other side of the card, and it looks pretty much just like this. And there's your, and you got your Just Sold information down here. But in this case, it's a testimonial of the guy's house you sold. Or it can look like it's a testimonial from the guy's house you just sold.
Yeah, exactly. You can just be a testimonial.
Right. You just run a testimonial here, and if you have a picture of somebody, great. If you don't, put this box in that box.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's your card. Now, and then probably what you want to do is every time you sell a house that you think is good leverage, then you send out a Just Sold card to that list.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now,
which I think every house sold is good leverage.
Right. The last on the list would be you send it to homes in the area.
Right.
Here's what determines that for me. If I'm going to send it to the homes geographically around the property that I sold, I'm only going to send it if there's turnover. You know how you list a house sometime somewhere, it sells in an hour, and there's like nothing for sale?
Right.
Then, I don't, that doesn't make sense to me to do a one-off mailing to that area. And that's what this is. Let's make it's a one-off thing. So we're trying to turn it into a weekly mailing. Okay, so every week you send a Just Sold card to the expired listings, the old expireds, the FSBOs, the active listings, And then you make a decision, and of course, everybody in your database that's a seller prospect, and then you make a decision whether to send it to other properties around the home that you sold based on turnover.
Right. Right, which would make sense. Okay. Perfect. Well, I'll get these changes made, Todd. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah. So there you go, buddy. That gives you the perfect, that'll be the perfect just sold card.
I will, I'll get those changed here this week and send it over to you.